Good day and welcome to the Prime Feed News. The Department of International Relations and Cooperation, DIRCO, has challenged the U.S. assertion that Afrikaners qualify for refugee status, saying that the allegations of discrimination against the group are unfounded. It is most regrettable that it appears that the resettlement of South Africans to the United States under the guise of being refugees is entirely politically motivated and designed to question South Africa's constitutional democracy, a country which has in fact suffered true persecution under apartheid rule and has worked tirelessly to prevent such levels of discrimination from ever occurring again, including through the entrenchment of rights in our constitution, which is enforced vigorously through our judicial system. In addition, it is not clear how the principle of non-refoulement will be applied in relation to these citizens once they are resettled, read a statement issued by DIRCO on Friday evening. The first group of Afrikaner refugees has departed for the U.S. on Sunday evening.
Well, Naledi, they have actually boarded, many of them, but we can't see them from this point. What we are waiting for now is to see the aircraft actually take off, and we do understand that this is the point where it will be preparing, to take off. Anytime from now, it was supposed to happen at 8 o'clock, but there were slight delays, hence, we haven't seen it. But I can tell you that, there were mixed reactions about what we saw earlier on, the 49 white Afrikaners that are making their way to the United States of America to start a new life. And those that we spoke to were mentioning that they were quite anxious about what life has in store for them on the other side, but they felt like they are making the right decision, because for the longest time, for many years here in South Africa, they felt like they were not part of this perfect picture that is painted, by many people of a democratic South Africa, where they felt racially segregated, in many ways. So this decision, came with a lot of thoughts. They've, discussed with their families, and it was also an emotional time because many said this is their final goodbye. So they are not, considering looking back or coming back to South Africa. So they've left with their family. So there's about 13 families that are actually boarding in that aircraft as we speak, Naledi. But I can tell you that there has been criticism on, the stance that they decided to take all action, which is obviously accepting the refugee status that they've been granted by the President of the United States, Donald Trump, where people were then asking, what happens when they get there, and what are they guaranteed? What kind of life are they guaranteed by Donald Trump? Because we understand that, all countries have their challenges, especially when it comes to unemployment. So will they be treated differently? Will they be attended to differently, compared to other refugees that are in, the United States currently, or other people that are, other residents or citizens rather of the U.S. that have many challenges that they can, talk about. So those are conversations that are currently ongoing as to, what will happen when they get on the other side. We tried talking to them about, their expectations when they get to the U.S., but we couldn't get an answer really, as they were instructed not to, divulge in terms of, what is happening on the other side or what is, expected to happen. So this is the first group. So this shows that there's a possibility that there could be another group that could, apply or send the applications to the Department of Transport so that they can be processed, vetted by police and state security to ensure that they don't have any charges, or rather they don't have any pending criminal cases, against them, so that they are ready to go. I've mentioned earlier on to Xoli Naledi that there's so many questions that are being asked by those that are, perhaps considering to, relocate to the United States, those who are Afrikaner speaking, white Afrikaners to be quite specific. What's the criteria, and what does the Department of Transport look at? But we heard from the spokesperson, essentially telling us that they do not deal with such, the criteria. All they do is to accept applications, and they process those people and arrange an aircraft that will be taking them to, the United States. So we will then see what's going to happen later on in the week. So we do know that they are expected to arrive in the early hours of the morning in the U.S. That's the information that we've received from the Department of Transport. So far there hasn't been any latest updates. So we are eagerly waiting to see that aircraft taking off, Naledi, at around 8:20. That's what we were told, hoping that we will be able to see it in close proximity as the other aircrafts that you are seeing here, so that we can finally wrap this journey of 49 people who, lived in South Africa for many years of their lives, and they have taken a decision to go and start a new life in the United States of America, hoping for greener pastures. Back to you in studio.
Yeah, thanks for that, Zola Shalwana, speaking to us from OR.